What happens at a citizenship interview? Hi, I'm Jim Hacking, immigration lawyer practicing law throughout the United States out of our office here in St. Louis, Missouri. Thought we would shoot this video for you if you're getting ready for your N400 naturalization interview, your citizenship interview at USCIS. So obviously every field office does it a little bit differently, but basically you're going to have to get through security and head into the USCIS office and let them know that you're there. Typically that means showing them your appointment notice and getting them started so that they know you're there, your officer knows you're there, and then you're probably going to be waiting a little while until you get called back into their office. So sometimes my clients think that immigration officers wear uniforms. They don't. They wear business casual clothes, and typically they're going to come out to the front door and either call your name or call your line number if you've been assigned one when you checked in. You're going to walk with them back to their office. Some officers ask you to turn off your cell phones or to leave your cell phones with like out in the drawer or someplace like that, or with the people that you came with. You go in there and pretty much they're going to swear you in, put you under oath, and then they're going to do one of two things. Some officers like to start with the examination, and some officers like to start with the interview. And so let's talk about the examination. So with any naturalization case, you're going to have to pass a civics and an English test. So the English test consists of you reading a sentence in English, typically something like, who lives in the White House? And then writing a sentence in English. The president lives in the White House. And so in most cities now, you'll have like a little iPad and you'll have a little pen or stylus, and you'll write, the president lives in the White House. And the pad is very sensitive. You don't want to put your hand on there. And eventually you're going to write your sentence, and then you're going to hit a little box to submit it. The officer looks at it on their screen, and then assuming that you pass, they're going to give you the 10 naturalization questions. So lately we've been seeing them ask harder questions. Usually in the old days they would ask questions like, how many Supreme Court justices are there? What happened on 9/11? Now they're asking sort of more obscure things, and that's been interesting to see. So you definitely want to make sure that you study all 100 questions, but they're only going to ask you as many as they need to. You have to get 6 out of 10 correct to pass. So once you answer 6 correctly, you will pass the test and they'll stop asking you questions. And after that, they're going to go over your N400 application itself. So they're going to ask you about your name. They're going to ask you about names that you've used, and they're going to ask you if you want to change your name. They're going to ask you about your parents. Were either of your parents U.S. citizens? Because they want to make sure that you're not already legally a U.S. citizen. They're going to ask you about all of your marriages. They're going to ask about the basis of your green card. How did you get your green card in the first place? They're going to talk to you about travel that you've had overseas. So they're going to go over your travel history. They're going to see if you've had any trips more than 6 months. If you have had any trips of more than 6 months, then they're going to be wondering whether you abandoned your residency, and they're going to spend some time asking you about that, and that's the subject of a whole other video. They're going to then ask you all these questions about your life and your experience and your history. They're going to focus on things like military history, membership in groups, arrests, traffic tickets. All these things are sort of fair game in the N400, and they're wanting to tell whether you're a person of good moral character, because not everybody gets to be a citizen, and they have this sort of subjective measure that allows them to approve or deny people on good moral character. Some offices handle that fairly. Other offices use that as a weapon to try to deny people. So as you're preparing your N400, as you're preparing for your N400 interview, you're going to want to make sure that you answer each and every question correctly. When I first started doing immigration, the N400 application was 4 pages long. Now it's approximately 18 or 20 pages long, and the questions are split down the middle. So there's actually 2 columns of questions. So an interview can be pretty detailed. Now, in my experience, the more seasoned officers, the officers who've been doing it longer, they have consolidated even all these new extra questions that have been asked so that they can hit the highlights and they get in and out. Younger officers tend to ask every single question on the form. I once even had the officer ask whether my client, who was born in 1985, had ever served in the Nazi army in the 1940s. So that's how literal some of these new officers get. They're afraid to make a mistake, and so they're going to ask you every single question. So generally, obviously, you want to dress up, you want to be professional, you want to have a smile on your face, you want to be ready to answer each and every question honestly and thoroughly and happily. And if they ask you 47 questions, I always tell my clients, be ready with a smile for question 48, because you want to go in there with your back high, you don't want to be slouching, you don't want to be all nervous, you don't want to be all weird and wishy-washy. You want to be direct and firm. You're not asking for anything that you're not entitled to, and you want to make sure that you are confident and you come across that way. Those are the main tips that I have. You know, obviously, if there's any questions on your N-400 that you're concerned about or that you think might cause a problem, you're going to want to talk to an immigration attorney about that. So in my experience and my recommendation, most people should not go to a naturalization interview by themselves. Even if they're highly educated, there's sometimes gaps or missing information that you just don't know, and it probably makes sense to go in with an experienced immigration lawyer, at least to prepare for your interview with one. If this video was helpful, I hope you subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you can also join us in our Facebook group, which is called Immigrant Home. If you have a video you'd like for us to shoot, just email us at info@hackinglawpractice.com, and be sure to join us and spread the word whenever you can. And if you have any questions, you can email us at you can call us at 314-961-8200. Thanks a lot. Have a great day.